This is how you build product that people pay you for, trip over themselves to pay you for it without breaking the bank. See, I've been building software companies now for 20 years. I buy software companies, I coach some of the world's top CEOs, and I've learned over the years, spending tens of millions of dollars on engineering teams, product managers, all the tooling, the fancy Kanban boards, project management, simulation software, all of that. It really comes down to these 5 core principles that if you implement into your product process will help you build innovation from insights you learn from your customers that will continue to keep you competitive. If you don't listen to this, I know where you're gonna end up. Failing because you won't have product market fit. I'm not even being dramatic. You literally maybe have some traction today and then you're gonna hit a ceiling where there's more people flying out the door than you're able to bring in, and you're gonna get frustrated and you're gonna give up and you're gonna decide to either shut it down or sell it for pennies. This is how we do it. Number 1 is define your product vision. See, a lot of founders, maybe this is you, or maybe you're a product manager and you work with a CEO founder, is they have the vision, but it's up in their head, okay? My rule when I coach CEOs is you need to communicate where you want to be in 18 months clearly. We're talking like high-level roadmap, so that the rest of the team can make decisions that's aligned with where you want to go, your vision. See, if you've got a team, even if it's 6 people, like every day they wake up to make the product better, to fix bugs, to talk to customers, and if you don't give them any direction, then essentially you're hoping that they see what you've never put out visually and execute against that. It's why a lot of CEOs get frustrated when their team make decisions. You're like, why did you do that? You didn't define your product vision. You didn't sit down and actually describe, this is the problem that we're gonna solve. This is the customer segment we're solving it for. Here's our unique perspective on how we're gonna solve it. And we're gonna get everybody aligned with this, meaning every person in the company is gonna be pulling on the rope in the same direction. Because if everybody's pulling on the rope, but they're pulling in different directions, guess what? You make no movement. And very few companies have a detailed definition of their product vision that they can use continuously every week in their product meetings to let everybody know, hey, remember guys, we're going over here. And this is the problem we're solving. And this is our unique perspective on the problem. And these are the customers we want to serve. And anytime the sales team brings in people that don't look like those customers, can we ask them to stop? And anytime the marketing team puts together a marketing program that attracts people just because they get cheap leads, but it doesn't get our best fit customers or ready to pay customers, we ask them to stop. All of this will allow you to just get better, leaner, and faster if you have a clearly defined product vision. Number 2 is create a roadmap. See, some of you guys have maybe never built software before. It's your first time. Maybe you've tried it in the past. And a lot of entrepreneurs have this like Steve Jobs complex. They're like, I know what the customer wants and they're wrong. And if I listen to them, I would just build a faster horse. All this craziness, okay? A product roadmap is very simple. It's over the next short term, typically 6 months, maybe 9 months. You can tell your team, this is our priority. Most importantly, it tells your customers what you're gonna build in what sequence, right? My favorite thing to do is actually ask customers for feedback on kind of product feature enhancement, and then map that feedback to the thing I'm gonna go build, that when I launch it, because it's part of the roadmap and everybody knows, I then tell the customers it was their idea. Okay, like sneaky deaky trick that could transform the way you create raving fans. You can't do that if you don't have a product roadmap, okay? It's different than a vision. A roadmap is shorter and it just lets everybody know this is what we're focusing on right now. This is what we're gonna focus on next. All your crazy ideas, dump them into this category of stuff. And then every time we sit down to talk about what we're gonna work on next, we can pull from there to figure it out, prioritize it, have a different process for it. But a roadmap is a critical tool that the best software companies out there know how to manage and communicate to the rest of their team. Number 3, create cross-functional teams. See, most companies that struggle with really great product, it's because they have an engineer that's maybe in some other part of the world and they're writing code, and every once in a while they throw stuff over the fence. And then you're like, okay, now we got to test it, and we play with it and we find all the bugs, and then we like send it back over the fence and hopefully they fix it. My philosophy is to create pod structures. And a pod structure is very cool because it allows a group of people to have everybody they need to actually ship working code. See, if you have like, oh, well, this is the person that does the customer stories, and then that goes to a designer, and then that goes to an engineer, and then the engineer needs to talk to their CTO to figure out like, how does this get built into our infrastructure? That's where the breakage happens, right? Whereas most of the best software companies in the world, the Facebooks, the Googles, the Amazon, they use a pod structure. Scrum talks about this, Agile development talks about this, where they can talk to the customer directly, take that feedback, put together a product spec, build it in-house, be responsible for it. My favorite example is this is HubSpot, where they would do, I don't know what they called it, but essentially show and tell. So every 2 weeks, they would invite all the different pods to show their work. Now here is the criteria. You couldn't show unless it was actually in staging. Couldn't have been clickable prototypes. It can't be ideas. If you want to demo on these show and tell days, you have to have working product in staging, ready to go, that everybody's like, that's amazing. Ship it to production, right? And just allowing this process of continuously upgrading and refining so there's no bottlenecks. I mean, most people don't know this, but companies like Shopify, Facebook, and many others ship to productions hundreds of times per day. They've built their infrastructure where if somebody has an idea and they have the time in that day, they can literally write the code, change the thing, submit it, it gets approved, shipped to production. There's no release schedule. There's no like, oh, this is our quarterly release. If there's a bug, they fix it, it's gone. And the only way to do that is if you have cross-functional teams. Number 4 is you've got to monitor progress and metrics, okay? So at the end of the day, it's not about lines of code that matter. It's about, did the customer receive more value? Did the code base get more stable? Did our company achieve their KPIs or metrics we set out for? You know, at the end of the day, business is very simple. How many customers come in? How much do they pay us? How many people stick around? Very simple. I know some of you guys are like, oh yeah, well I measure this metric and this metric and this metric. It's like super advanced and nerdy stuff, which I love. But I also know that at the simplest form, if we can just instrument those different data points and say, how many customers did we get in the last month? Did they activate? Did they pay us? Did they stick around? And then as you deploy new features, see your product features should only be created if they solve a problem, if they improve one of those metrics. You know, a lot of people have good ideas, but when you say, well, how is this gonna help the business? And they're like, well, it'll make our customers happy. Okay, is it gonna keep more customers that are canceling? Well, no, but it's gonna make the ones that are staying more happy. Okay, well, we've got, 8, 9, 10% of the people every month leaving. Could we start with fixing those problems? Could we pull the report, what I call the customer cancellation survey, and actually reverse engineer what are top customers that we would have liked to have kept? Why are they leaving, and fixing those holes first? Too often people confuse activity with progress. To me, the way we avoid this is we instrument our code base. Everybody monitors those KPIs that are important to us, including speed and performance. There's nothing worse than releasing new software. I remember one time our team released this big search engine change, and it's like all these advanced search features, and they were so pumped. And then when I tested it out, it was 3 times slower. It doesn't matter how cool your search is. If it slows down the whole thing, customers don't care about that. Jeff Bezos says it best. He goes, look, all I know in the future is our customers will always want cheaper prices delivered faster. Think about that, cheaper prices delivered faster. So if your thing makes the site faster, if it makes it that we have more product inventory, if it makes the price cheaper, if it makes it faster to get to somebody, those are all really good things you should focus on. So monitor progress and the KPIs and metrics, and that's how we create the baseline for everybody else to make the product better. Number 5 is iterate and improve. See, when you get into larger engineering teams, you will discover that many of them have this thing called DevOps. And DevOps is a department that allows the engineers to request ways that the DevOps team can make the writing of the software easier, better, just faster for them to develop new features. And one of my favorite examples is this feature that Facebook has called Gatekeeper. And what Gatekeeper does, it allows you to deploy new features, but to focus on different demographics. So if I wanted to test some new, let's say I want to change the color of the like button, I can actually change it for everybody in Canada, or even just 10,000 of our customers in Canada, and it gatekeeps it to just them so that I can split test and test that change versus control. See, it's hard to iterate if you don't create baselines. You know, if you're Google, I don't know if you know this, but YouTube, which is owned by Google, their homepage, they have some customers that are part of a control group that they've never seen an ad on their YouTube videos, and they're not paying for YouTube Red or Advanced or whatever it is. They literally say, okay, well, we have all these different experiments running for us to feed back the learnings to the product teams, to the product managers, so that they can decide what's the best thing to move forward, right? Too often, people are in meetings and product meetings, and it's called the HIPPO, the highest income person's opinion. That's the most important. It's like, who should we listen to? Listen to the HIPPO. What's the highest income person's opinion? The person who gets paid the most. It's the product manager, it's the CEO. But my philosophy is listen to the customers. I actually, at a certain point, the product is yours. You have an opinion, you have a philosophy, you have a point of view. It's opinionated software. But as soon as you put it out to the world, then all of a sudden it becomes theirs. And you have to start working backwards from the customer. So being able to move faster by creating tooling that allows you to split test, to create gatekeeping software, to launch new features to a specific audience, to learn, to then, I even had a friend once, he built a new tab in the software, and when you click the tab, it was a survey. It wasn't the feature, nothing was built. It literally asked the person, what did you expect to see when you click this tab? Isn't that cool? Like, you don't even have to know what to build, just ask your customers. Then he took all that feedback, looked at their answers and said, oh geez, I didn't think of that. We should build this pivot table concept for reporting. Perfect, build it into the product. That's how we improve our product. To wrap it all up, I wanna share this with you. This is a guy named Mark Newsom, okay? He's friends with Johnny Ives from Apple. I heard about him because he was rumored to work on the Apple Watch, okay? This watch right here. Why I have this is because this is his design journal, okay? There was only a handful of these ever sold. This thing is incredibly valuable. And I bought it because, and this is my invitation for you, is become a student of design. Become a student of product. Become a student of emotional response to objects. Mark Newsom not only designed, the lounge chair, to cars, to Louis Vuitton bags, to buildings, to Apple Watches. He is somebody that I'm incredibly inspired from. And for 3 or 4 years, I went down the rabbit hole of just what does it mean to be a great product designer? Okay, how do we have product vision? How do we create roadmaps? How do we create cross-functional teams to design some of the stuff that he covers in this book? That's my invitation for you. Don't be just good at it. Decide to be a master at it. Go all in, surround yourself with people like Mark Newsom and other world-class designers to be inspired about how they think. Because it's one thing to build software, but it's another thing to build something so great that other people copy you for. Okay? And I think that's the ultimate expression of, appreciation is, do you see other people in your industry steal or inspired by some of your interaction designs or your workflows? That's what I always strive to think about when I'm designing products. So that's my invitation for you. And as per usual, I want to challenge you to live a bigger life and a bigger business. And I'll see you next Monday.